Dear students, Namaskar. I hope that you are all well and excited for the lesson we are going to study today. Students, today we will study second chapter of science of class 7, Nutrition in Animals. First of all, we will recall what you already know. I will ask a few questions and you try to answer those questions. Which method is used by plants to prepare their food? Correct answer. Plants prepare their food with the help of process of photosynthesis. Second question. Name the components of food. So students, components of food are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins and minerals. Next question. How do organisms obtain their nutrition? So, organisms get their food directly or indirectly from plants. So, children, let us see what are we going to learn today. Different ways of taking food, digestion in humans, digestion in grass-eating animals, feeding and digestion in amoeba. Students, first of all, let us know about different modes of taking food into the body. The mode of taking food into the body varies in different organisms. Bees and hummingbirds suck the nectar of plants. Infants of human and many other animals feed on mother's milk. Snakes like python swallow the animals they prey upon. Some aquatic animals filter tiny food particles floating nearby and feed upon them. For example, a marine organism starfish. Starfish feeds on animals covered by hard shells of calcium carbonate. After opening the shell, the starfish pops out its stomach through its mouth to eat the soft animal inside the shell. The stomach then goes back into the body and the food is slowly digested. So, did you see how starfish obtains its food? And did you find it interesting? Students, till now we discussed about those organisms which have a digestive system. But you will be surprised to know that there are many microorganisms which do not have mouth or any digestive system. So isn't it interesting to know that how such organisms might be obtaining food and digesting it? Now you will study another interesting method of obtaining food. Students, sometimes when you eat in a hurry, talk, or laugh while eating, you may cough, get hiccups, or a choking sensation. This happens when food particles enter the windpipe. The windpipe carries air from the nostrils to the lungs. It runs adjacent to the food pipe, but inside the throat, air and food share a common passage. Then, how food is prevented from entering the windpipe? During the act of swallowing, a flap like valve closes the passage of the windpipe and guides the food into food pipe. If by chance food particles enter the windpipe, we feel choked, get hiccups, or cough. So, students, this is the reason that when your elders say that you should never talk while eating. Students, now we will learn about digestion in human beings. We take in food through the mouth, digest and utilize it. The unused part of the food are defecated. Have you ever wondered what happens to the food inside the body? The food passes through a continuous canal which begins at the buccal cavity and ends at the anus. The canal can be divided into various compartments: the buccal cavity, food pipe or esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, ending in rectum, and the anus. Now, first of all, we shall study about buccal cavity. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. The process of taking in food into the body is called ingestion. Now, let us know about our teeth first. Each tooth is rooted in a separate socket in the gums. Our teeth vary in appearance and perform different functions. Accordingly, they are given different names. Our teeth are of four types: incisors, canines, premolar, and molar. Incisors are used for cutting and biting of food, and they are eight in number: four in the lower jaw and four in the upper jaw. Canines are used for tearing and piercing the tough food, and they are four in number: two in the lower jaw and two in the upper jaw. After this, the teeth which help in chewing are premolars and molars. Premolars are eight in number, four in the lower jaw and four in the upper jaw. And molars are 12 in number, six in the lower jaw and six in the upper jaw. All these teeth together help in chewing the food properly. Students, you should also know that to keep our teeth healthy, we should brush twice a day. We chew the food with the help of teeth and break it down mechanically into small pieces. Our mouth has salivary glands which secrete saliva. The saliva breaks down starch into sugars and softens the food. Next part is tongue. The tongue is a fleshy, muscular organ attached at the back to the floor of the buccal cavity. It is free at the front and can be moved in all directions. The tongue has taste buds that detect different tastes of food like salty, bitter, sweet, and sour. The food pipe or esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. The food pipe runs along the neck and chest. Food is pushed down by movement of wall of the food pipe. Next part is stomach. The stomach is a thick-walled bag. Its shape is like a flattened U, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It receives food from the food pipe at one end and opens into the small intestine at the other. The lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. The mucus protects the lining of the stomach. The acid kills many bacteria that enter along with the food and makes the medium in the stomach acidic and helps the digestive juices to act. The digestive juices break down the proteins into simpler substances. Now the food enters small intestine. The small intestine is highly coiled and is about 7.5 meters long. It receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas. The liver is a reddish brown gland situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. It is the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice that is stored in a sac called the gallbladder. The bile plays an important role in the digestion of fats. Pancreas. The pancreas is a large cream colored gland located just below the stomach. The pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats, and proteins and changes them into simpler forms. The partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where the intestinal juices complete the digestion of all components of food. Absorption in the small intestine. The digested food can now pass into the blood vessels in the wall of the intestine. This process is called absorption. The inner walls of the small intestine have thousands of finger like outgrowths. These are called villi. The villi increase the surface area for absorption of the digested food. The absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body where they are used to build complex substances such as proteins required by the body. This is called assimilation. So, students, we learned here that nutrition is a complex process which include the steps of ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. The food that remains undigested and unabsorbed enters into the large intestine. Now we will talk about large intestine. The large intestine is wider and shorter than small intestine. It is about 1.5 meter in length. Its function is to absorb water and some salts from the undigested food material. The remaining waste passes into rectum and remains there as semi-solid feces. The fecal matter is removed through the anus from time to time. This is called egestion. Students, now we will learn about digestion in grass eating animals. Have you observed cows, buffaloes, and other grass eating animals chewing continuously even when they are not eating? Actually, they quickly swallow the grass and store it in a part of the stomach called rumen. In ruminants, the stomach consists of four parts. Here, the food gets partially digested and is called cud. But later, the cud returns to the mouth in small lumps and the animal chews it. This process is called rumination, and these animals are called ruminants. The grass is rich in cellulose, a type of carbohydrate. Many animals, including humans, cannot digest cellulose. Ruminants contain certain bacteria which help in digestion of cellulose. Ruminants have a large sac like structure called cecum between small intestine and large intestine. The cellulose of food is digested here by the action of certain bacteria which are not present in humans. Come on, students. Now we will learn about feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic, single celled organism found in pond water. Amoeba constantly changes its shape and position. It pushes out one or more finger like projections called pseudopodia or false feet for movement and capture of food. When it senses food, it pushes out pseudopodia around the food particle and engulfs it. The food becomes trapped in food vacuole. Digestive juices are secreted into the food vacuole. They act on the food and break it down into simpler substances. The undigested residue of the food is expelled outside by the vacuole. Students, now let us recapitulate what we have learned today. The process of breaking down complex food components into simpler forms is called digestion. Pancreatic juices act on carbohydrates and proteins. The grass eating animals like cows, buffaloes, and deer are called ruminants. Amoeba ingests its food with the help of its false feet or pseudopodia. Different parts of alimentary canal are buccal cavity, food pipe or esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. Students, now I will ask you a few questions. Different organisms have different modes of intake of food. Is it true or false? So, the right answer is true. This is a true statement. My next question is acid in stomach kills dash. So, the right answer is bacteria. Which digestive juice convert proteins into amino acids? The answer to this question is pancreatic juice. What do we call the finger like projections present on the inside wall of small intestine? So the answer is villi. Now let us understand next processes. Saliva not only softens the food but also convert starch into sugar. Let us perform an activity here. Take two test tubes, label them A and B. In test tube A, put 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice, and in test tube B, keep 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice after chewing it for 3 to 5 minutes. Add 3 to 4 ml of water in both test tubes. Now pour 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution in each test tube and observe. What do you infer? The test tube A, the color of iodine changes to blue-black, but there is no change in test tube B. Iodine solution is used for testing the presence of starch. When iodine solution is added to starch, the color of iodine changes to blue-black. This happened in test tube A. So it means starch is present in boiled rice. But there was no color change in test tube B, which shows that starch was not present in test tube B. So we find that saliva converts starch into sugar. So, students, now my next question is which part of the digestive canal is involved in? First, absorption of digested food. Second, chewing of food. Third, killing of bacteria. Fourth, complete digestion of food. Fifth, formation of feces. The answer is absorption of digested food, small intestine. Chewing of food, buccal cavity. Killing of bacteria, stomach. Complete digestion of food, small intestine. Formation of feces, large intestine. Students, next question is in which part of the alimentary canal fat is completely digested? And the answer is small intestine. Next question is water from the undigested food is absorbed mainly in the large intestine. Yes. So, large intestine is the right answer. Now, look at this picture of the human digestive system and label the parts numbered as 1, 2, and 3. So, the part labeled 1 is stomach. Part labeled as 2 is small intestine. And after that, large intestine. Students, with this, we complete our chapter, Nutrition in Animals. And I hope that you must have listened to it carefully and understood it well. So, students, revise the chapter thoroughly, and I hope that you stay healthy, keep learning, and keep growing. Thank you.